What is up, gamers? Today, more Higurashi. We're probably gonna go on for like 2 hours, hopefully. Two and a half. Hey Reigns. Thank you for the hydration. I really heckin' need it today. I woke up and my throat was like killing me. So hopefully I'll be okay for reading today. Hopefully it'll be fine. It'll be fine. No worries. Load. Chapter 3. Oh, it's heckin' loud. So true, King. It is a real Nipa moment. Or soon, anyway, hopefully. I don't know what the heck's gonna happen. Continue. Okay. I had a God, forget. Hold on. I had a restless night's sleep. I did nothing but turn over repeatedly during a night that seemed like it lasted for eternity. Even then, I eventually fell asleep at some point, not realizing how high in the sky the sun had risen. Oh, this is still the detective, isn't it? I shook off the urge to go back to sleep. It was then I noticed that the phone was ringing. Yeah, you got a job to do. The time was almost 10:30 in the morning. It was clearly too late for a wake-up call. Akasaka-san? Good morning, it's Oishi. Waking up to the sound of Oishi's voice was a little too much of a shock. My delicate ears were ringing. Come on. Akasaka-san! Right? But thanks to that shock, I was suddenly wide awake. Hello? Good morning? Could it be you just woke up? Even though you're on assignment, it's still not good to be asleep during regular business hours. You're absolutely right. I'll be more careful in the future. I have another tidbit that might wake you up even more. There was something interesting mixed in with the lost and found at Himatsubushi police station. Police box, yes. Lost and found? Let's leave the details for when you get here. Oh, great. I wonder what that's gonna be. Jesus. Think you'll be able to make it before noon? No, I'll be there right away. Oishi already knew what my mission was. Since Oishi had said it was something that would wake me up, it was hard to believe it would be irrelevant to me. Honestly speaking, judging by the information from Sato-san yesterday, knowing that my cover was already blown, I couldn't wander to and from Hinamizawa carelessly. In other words, my investigation was at an impasse. There was some information that could put me back on the trail, then that would be nothing less than a stroke of good fortune. After vigorously washing my face, I pulled on my jacket and hailed the taxi, heading towards the Okinomiya police station. Oh, you're here. The genius mahjong player has arrived. Right? Oh, let me turn up the volume just a bit. I don't want to be too loud, too quiet. My apologies for being late. So, exactly what popped up? With absolutely no intention of reminiscing about last night's mahjong game, pressed him to get to the point. He can smell it! Right? Exactly. Oishi, anticipating I would act that way, cut to the chase without any resistance. Like I said earlier, something arrived from the Hinamizawa police boxes lost and found this morning. Lost items that were turned over to the police box were sent to Okinomiya Station after the paperwork was filed out. Oishi pulled out a plastic bag from the drawer and laid its labeled contents on the desk. A gun? A wallet. Is that a wallet? Indeed. There was a small change inside, but no bills. Is it his wallet? Akasaka-san's wallet? Thought that a pickpocket threw it away after pulling out the contents. Or is it some dead person's wallet? At first, I don't understand how this wallet, so far removed from Tokyo, could have possibly be related to the kidnapping. If it had drawn Oishi's attention, it would have something dramatic, like if the wallet belonged to the missing grandchild. That would be absurd! Like something that convenient would happen. If that was it, then there were probably initials written on the wallet. Like the initials of Toshiki Unagai, the minister's grandson, T.I. Thinking like that, at this point, I didn't suppose that this wallet was something that could get Oishi so excited. Oishi, after putting on a pair of disposable plastic gloves, handed me a pair of the same. Well, it's obviously evidence of some kind, come on. I didn't feel that this wallet was such an important thing, so I had my doubts on whether there was any point to putting on the gloves. However, I didn't want Oishi's intentions to go to waste, so I put them on. Oishi opened up the plastic bag and pulled it out, showing me the back. So I had imagined there were initials engraved there, but it was slightly more detailed than what I had thought, with Toshiki I marked on it. Well, that kind of confirms it, doesn't it? Oishi grinned at me with a look on his face that said, "See? Can't confirm that, yeah. This belongs to the minister's grandson," I informed him calmly. What, dude? Who else would, whatever, freaking Toshiki I? Who the heck else would that be, you know? Swallow was irrelevant. It was nothing more than Oishi's overeagerness. First of all, there was absolutely no way in this distant locale that the missing grandson's wallet would be found with such a convenient timing. Dude, he's acting like yesterday never heckin' happened. After all, the Onikafuchi Defense Alliance wasn't related to the case in the first place. So there was no way that this wallet belonged to the grandson. Why I wanted to decide that was the case, even I didn't really know. Even though what should have been top secret case was leaked before I'd even been dispatched. Dude, it's because he doesn't want to know. He doesn't want that to be the case. But so much evidence already, dude. So much. In this situation, how could I say this was definitely unrelated? Would it be more prudent to pay more attention to this wallet? It had only been a couple days since I arrived in Hinamizawa. But in those couple of days, due to the number of remarkable events, my nerves might have just become a little frayed. Shaking my head slightly, I cleared it of some unnecessary thoughts. Oishi opened the wallet zipper, revealing the contents. Inside was a small change and a number of crumpled receipts. Oishi, from that jumble, pulled out a folded card. Be an ID, please. Be an ID. Saying that, my heart stopped for a moment. It was a card from a dental examination. The name? Toshiki Inugai. And the age. A perfect match. Oh no, how could this possibly have happened? We didn't see this coming from a mile away. Dentist's location was in Tokyo. There was no need to explain any further. How far was it from Tokyo to Hinamizawa? Far enough that taking the bullet trains and cars would still take several hours. Why would a wallet with a dental examination card from Tokyo inside show up in Hinamizawa? Oh! Could it belong to a tourist who came from Tokyo? Or maybe a villager on vacation to Tokyo just happened to pay a visit to the dentist? No, it had to have fallen into somebody's bag by accident. In my mind, I desperately struggled to find a possible excuse as to why this wallet didn't belong to Toshiki Inugai. It was as if it wouldn't do for this wallet to belong to him. However, weeding out any possibility forever, one by one, the haze surrounding the wallet in front of me faded, gradually letting it come into clear focus. See? I felt a shiver of electricity run up my spine. My pulse quickened. A thin film of sweat began to coat my entire body. From Oishi's point of view, I was probably slack-jawed and spaced out, with a slovenly look on my face. Did you get information from the dental office? That's your job, Akasaka-san. I didn't go that far. When did this wallet show up? The person who picked it up was a villager. They did so yesterday, it seems. Not that, I mean, when was this wallet dropped? How the heck are we gonna know that? Rained here last week, exactly 7 days ago. Doesn't look like the contents were water damage, so the longest it could have been would probably 6 days. Oh, that's smart. Does anybody else at this station have knowledge of the existence of this wallet? The officer who first encountered it at the Hinamizawa police box, and also the 2 or 3 people in charge of Lost and Found. You know, I feel like Hinamizawa police station would know, right? No, they wouldn't, would they? I mean, I feel like they would be a part of the freaking Mion's gang Yakuza family thing, right? I feel like that they would control the police station, so I feel like it would have stopped there, but I guess not, I guess. Other than that, it's just me and you. If it's involved in a classified case, it'd be bad to talk about, wouldn't it? I don't intend to wag my tongue. May I borrow a phone? Go ahead. Dial 0 to get an outside line. Dialed the phone number inscribed on the examination card. I hear my pulse pounding inside my head. Could there possibly be something so absurd? The addresses on the receipts and cards and the wallet were all around the area where grandson lived. Name on the examination card was also a match. The time we deduced that the wallet had been left behind also matched up with the timeline of the kidnapping. Of course, it was possible I could just laugh it off as all a big pile of coincidences. What? As all a big pile of coincidences. Okay. There wasn't any strong evidence. Rather than all this circumstantial proof, contents of the phone call is about to make a much greater meaning. Hello, sorry to keep you waiting. This is XX Dental Office. Hello, this is XX Police. I love that. I have misplaced the wallet here and I'm trying to get in contact with the owner. Would you be able to help me? Inside the wallet, there was an examination card from your office. Yes. The name is Toshiki Inugai. If I give you the number on the card, would you be able to look up the phone number? Yes, thank you. If you could. Still holding the receiver, I pulled out a notebook from the breast pocket of my free hand. I opened up to the page with grandson's address and phone number recorded on it. Yes, hello. Yes, go ahead. I compared the phone number written in my notebook to one that being read out on the other end of the line. Perfect match! Right? During that process, I spun around to look behind me uneasily. I locked eyes with Oishi. Oishi looked puzzled, wondering what the matter was. Why would I feel uneasy and look behind me? That's because the person on the end of the line was reading out the numbers as though doing so straight from my notebook. How much more evidence does he need? Like, it's so obvious by this point. Seemed that HQ was in quite an uproar thanks to my report. No matter how many times the authenticity of the evidence I had linked to the grandson was called into question, I only spawned that it was the truth. The lead investigator first picked up the phone. I was grilled about the evidence I'd found that was almost too good to be true, if I do say so myself. But after having doubt after doubt dispelled, it fell into silence. The receiver was finally handed over to the section chief. When he picked it up, the background thumb on the other end of the line disappeared. I knew that it had gone completely silent. After asking the same questions about the wallet that the lead investigator did, Chief quietly spoke his next words. Got it. We'll dispatch several people as reinforcements. They should be able to make it there by evening. Akasaka-kun, please continue with your investigation of the area. Get some information on the spot where the wallet was found. Kano-san will select some people and head directly there. The fact that he was sending Kano, the lead investigator, here that meant the chief had decided that there was a possibility that Onegashi Defense Alliance was somehow implicit in the kidnapping. No way! Ugh, now it's freaking too loud, isn't it? God. Taking audio. The fact that he was sending, yeah. However, it felt as though until the lead investigator, whom he trusted, had verified evidence with his own eyes, he was still going to be skeptical about it. How'd it go? Seems like HQ is sending reinforcements. I was ordered to investigate the area. Was the wallet dropped? Around Takatsudo, apparently. This is Okinomiya. All the way over here, this is Hinamizawa. Then, even further upstream, way up around here, is Takatsudo. Oishi explained where the wallet was found by pointing to locations on the map on the wall. A place called Takatsudo was even more remote than Hinamizawa was. Dude, spin-off? There's hardly anybody living in the area around Takatsudo. It was deserted a long time ago. Littered with abandoned houses, so it's really quite desolate around there. That's probably where that's where he's being held, probably, right? I mean, based on the background of what we saw before. Oishi-san, could I ask you to guide me to Takatsudo? Yeah, I don't mind. Can't really get in and out of Hinamizawa as you please by yourself, after all. Of course, I'll have to make you wear the cap and mask again. That Oishi had agreed to accompany me was very reassuring. Sato-san's information was to be believed. My cover had been blown. I wasn't sure if the villagers had realized that fresh meat had dispatched into public safety was the tourist that visited the village yesterday. In other words, me. But deciding that they hadn't noticed would be overly optimistic. Given a cursory thought, Takatsudo, where the wallet was found, couldn't be ruled out as the hiding spot for the kidnappers. The Takatsudo area didn't have any residential buildings, nor was it alongside the highway. There wasn't a reason for even the locals to go out of their way to visit it. It's exactly what you would call a long-forgotten ghost town at the end of the road. couldn't ask for a better place to hold a kidnapped grandson. Also, you couldn't get to Katsudo without passing through Hidemizawa first. Those several conditions made the area all that more important. You couldn't brush it off any longer. There was no longer any doubt that Onigafuchi Defense Alliance, or somebody hired by them, were involved in the kidnapping. If that was the case, then the fact that this wallet was found might already have been leaked to them. They even knew so much as how the Public Safety Division was operating. The case of the wallet couldn't be something they didn't know. Exactly. So they're gonna be waiting. Or, they're gonna move the kid. In that case, there was a possibility that the enemy was lying in wait. Dive alone to enemy territory surrounded by enemy territory, to say the least, required an amount of courage, nay, recklessness, that I just did not have. Without your company, Oishi-san, I wouldn't be able to step into the village so easily. Thank you very much for your cooperation. Honestly, I thought you would ask for more money. Well, if we're being honest, Hidemizawa isn't exactly the place I'd like to go to. I'd at least appreciate it if you paid for cab fare. Still, it's not a request I can refuse from a friend that's played at the same table as me. Respect. Oishi grinned as he patted me on the back. It struck me as he didn't want to jump ship rather than having any sorts of sense of duty towards his job. Even so, that didn't really matter. Right now I really appreciated the gesture. Well then, shall we hurry up and get going? The enemy knew that the police had obtained the wallet, and they probably would have moved the hostage to a different place. That's what I said! There wasn't a moment to lose. Oroishi, without regard to the fact that we were about to head out, began to remove his jacket. What are you doing? Well, just a precaution. You want me to poke the beehive to get your honey? I have to be rather well prepared, you see. You want to put one on too? What Oishi pulled from the drawer below the desk was a stab-proof vest. You know, you're probably gonna need that. Oh god. You're probably 100% going to need that. His name was Toshiki Inugai, grandson of the Minister of Construction, Inugai. There's only one reason for him being here. If you didn't include gym or art class, his grades were above average. That was the result of having private tutoring sessions twice a week. He admitted the fact that he still couldn't do pull-ups. There wasn't much else that could make him hate school. Of course, he understood full well that his grandfather was a cabinet minister. He also knew that not too many people were that interested in their relationship. He didn't like to go out of his way to bring up his grandfather, or to call him the Minister of Construction. Finally, he at least tried to know a little more about what kind of work the Minister of Construction did than your average Joe. What that entailed was that when you tried your best to make life better for the masses, sometimes you made a few enemies. He knew that all too well from the time he'd spent as a class representative. His grandfather had many enemies. He knew that he might personally catch some of that fallout, so he had to be twice as cautious. He was taught that by his parents. That's why, the moment he was kidnapped, he instantly knew that this was one of those occasions. He understood that he wasn't being treated as Toshiki Inugai, the person, but rather as Toshiki Inugai, the grandson of the Minister of Construction. That he wasn't personally at fault, but this was the result of some unavoidable trouble with his grandfather's work. It made little difference. And when he realized it wasn't because of anything he did. He was able to relax, if only a little. Of course, at first he was struck with a terror befitting his age, wondering what was going to happen to him. After a while, being tied up and only able to lie down, he was able to ponder a great many things. First, he thought about the reason he was being abducted like this. He understood the answer to that easily. He was taken hostage to coerce his grandfather, the minister. There's no doubt about that. He didn't know exactly what the Minister of Construction did, but it was easy to imagine that there was much to be gained from threatening him. He respected his grandfather more than most. He earnestly believed that his own grandfather was in the top 20 of most important people in Japan. What? Minister of Construction? I guess. Oh, I need to freaking blow my nose. This is getting annoying. Heck. Hopefully I sound a little better now. Allergies freaking suck. Yep. That was exactly why he wouldn't forgive anybody who tried to threaten his beloved grandfather. More importantly, he wouldn't forgive anybody who would use him as a tool to threaten his grandfather. His grandfather was really busy and rarely had any time to meet with relatives. That's why, with what little time he did manage to scrape together, he just dropped by unannounced. East? I don't know about that either. And as an apology for not being able to meet during New Year's or summer vacation, he doted on his grandson very, very much. The number of times that Toshiki was looked upon with disregard just because his grandfather was a politician and mister certainly weren't few. But he never thought even once that he wanted his grandfather to quit being a politician. Wow. Because his beloved grandfather wanted him to continue his career as long as possible from the bottom of his heart. However, Toshiki was now being held hostage, and his grandfather was being threatened. His grandfather, who called him the apple of his eye, was surely suffering. He might do anything to save his grandson. Maybe even putting aside his ideology, if it was required to save his grandson. He might cave into culprits' demands if it meant saving his grandson. When Toshiki thought about that, an inexplicable anger welled up within him. Is he gonna... In his current situation, he was unable to forgive the cowards who made sure his beloved grandfather suffer by using such dastardly means. The feeling welled up inside him, displacing the fear. What he thought first was something any boy would imagine. Get out of these bonds, beat up the bad guys, hand him over to police. Images of all the brave heroes from all the manga he had read passed the back of his mind. In the imaginary scenario, he slipped his bonds easily, floating like a butterfly to evade his captors, and stinging like a bee to bring them all down. In the end, it was nothing more than his silly little fantasy. But with a vision obscured and unable to see anything, it was something that he could get into more than any anime at the moment. In actuality, he was enjoying these little scenarios in his head, and for a long period of time he was tied up. His captors hadn't really done anything for him that they would feel sorry for. However, eventually he began to grow tired of his fantasies, and more realistic scenarios began to run through his head. It was then he realized that none of them were a solution. Yes, he wanted to do something for his grandfather who was being threatened. That he was being held here to inflict pain on his grandfather was the thing that he could least forgive, and also the most vexing. And then he noticed. There was a much simpler way he could save his grandfather without having to beat up his despicable captors. That was to remove himself as a hostage from the hands of these villains. If he was to disappear from here, his captors would have nothing to threaten his grandfather with. The captors had restrained him, but they didn't treat him roughly, and they made sure he was fed well enough. Meaning, at the most, he was nothing more than means for their threat. They weren't looking to bully him or kill him out of spite. If he behaved, no ill would befall him. Realizing that gave him a strong sense of courage. And carrying his train of thought this far, he let it run its course through its natural conclusion. Right now, at this moment, Toshiki Inugai had decided to escape. His ear had been stuffed with sponge-like material acting as makeshift earplugs. However, they didn't actually do much to block out any sound, and he could overhear everything his captors were saying. I mean, they tried, I guess. Realizing that this was to his advantage, even when his captors spoke to him, he acted like he couldn't hear them due to the earplugs. His captors, thinking that he couldn't hear their conversation, talked about all sorts of things without any reservations. Thanks to that, he was able to obtain various pieces of information. First off, this wasn't Tokyo. It seemed that this was quite a distance away. And on top of that, in the countryside, nestled deep in the mountains. It also seemed that his captors were inconvenienced living out here, so he could deduce that this place was far removed from any sort of town. Finally, whenever they went out to buy food or other supplies, they would always take a car. That fact caused him some dismay, because he knew that method he learned at school of running around blindly while shouting for help wouldn't work here. He paused his little mental escape scenario there. His ultimate goal was to find somebody who would help him. If somebody who fit the description wasn't close by, his chances of escaping successfully grew slim. A desolate, far-off land deep in the mountains. A place where you couldn't even go shopping without using a car. In this situation, escaping would be very difficult. He grew depressed, and after a little while, he returned to his original scenario. Imagining becoming a hero like in the manga he read, beating down his captors became his respite. However, as he played those delusions out in his head, his heart, hating to surrender, continued to search for a way to escape. And then, he thought of a way. If the goal was far away, then all he had to do was get closer. His goal, in a nutshell, was to find somebody who would help him. In other words, somebody other than his captors. If he faked being sick, his captors would have to take him to the hospital or bring a doctor to him. They would probably be reluctant to do that, but he already knew that the hostage was more important than anything. On the off chance something happened, like him dying, occurred, they wouldn't be able to threaten anybody anymore. Luckily, they had an experience that would help him fake a serious illness. At the end of last year, he was inadvertently involved in a car accident that had to undergo surgery. The scar from that surgery was still clearly visible in his lower torso. He recalled the pain and suffering from that time. The existence of that experience would make a huge impact on the realism of his performance. He was quite confident in his ability to fake an illness. Oh god. His captors at first took that as a sign he needed to use the washroom. Untying only his arms, they tried to bring him there while he was still blindfolded. But he didn't try to get up. His hands, now free, only clutched at his abdomen as he writhed in agony. What a little actor. Hey, what's wrong? Does your stomach hurt? He still has the earplugs in, so he pretended he didn't hear his captors asking the question. He's so smart. Oh my god. Would a 10-year-old realistically be this smart? Like, realistically. He was about to nod, so he hurriedly had to stop himself. What's the matter? Yeah, this kid's clutching at his stomach. Must be a stomachache or something. His captors looked down on his suffering form for a bit. One of them proposed a course of action, while another laid his doubts that Toshiki might be faking it. Yeah, I guess you're right. Yeah. What's wrong, boy? Tummy hurt? His ears were plugged, so he can't hear you. Well, that's a problem. Do we got any medicine that works on stomach pain? Might want to go to the pharmacy and buy some. When it comes to stomach pain, there's a bunch of different meds, isn't there? As long as we don't know the cause, we shouldn't buy him just any old medicine. Yeah, dude, what? Huh? He's holding his stomach. Maybe he's just constipated. If we buy him some medicine for that, maybe calm him down. Oh, please. Please don't do that. Won't kill him if we're wrong, neither. No one decides something like that on your own. Might be appendicitis or something. My uncle suddenly got it a while ago. That was pretty scary. One of the captors leaned over beside the boy who was bent over in agony. I feel sorry for the kid. Whoa, his whole body's covered in sweat. Is it your stomach? Does it hurt? Hey, if it hurts, you shouldn't clutch at it so tightly. It'll only make it worse. Realizing that his captors were concerned about his stomach, he inadvertently let his shirt right up, letting a scar from his surgery come into plain view. That's so good. His vision was still obscured with packing tape, so he couldn't see the reaction to his scar. But his captors were taken aback, and judging from the momentary silence, he had obtained the reaction he was looking for. Hey, this is bad. The scar, it's not that old. Does that boy have a fever? There's a thermometer around? No way we have one. But that's a lot of sweat. Yeah, his forehead feels pretty hot, I think. Nah, that's just in his head. There's no way he could forcibly summon a fever. Heard that under prolonged stress, old wounds can be aggravated. What do we do? Are you saying the medicine won't work? We don't know what surgery the scar was from, but in any case, this is bad. In the worst case, it could be fatal. This is bad. They're really, really bad. Maybe we should have got a doctor take a look at it. This rate, there's a chance he might suddenly die on us. Toshiki Inagai, with those few words, knew that the situation was progressing exactly as he had envisioned it, and snickering to himself on the inside, pressed his act even further. He didn't even need to see to know that his captors were panicked and were running around like chickens with their heads cut off at this troublesome turn of events. Should we take him to the clinic? No, that's no good. Probably better if the doctor came here. Dr. Irie, you mean? Is that okay? Will that be alright? It'd be worse if anything happened to the hostage. Nothing we could do. It's an emergency. One of the captors hurriedly left in the car. Another of the men, completely shaken up by this point, wiped the sweat from his forehead with a handkerchief. Looked like they were bringing a doctor. Which is that's kind of the opposite of what he wanted, right? He wanted him to go to a doctor, not them bring a doctor here. So his plan won't really work out, will it? As long as the doctor wasn't an accomplice, that doctor was his goal. He was someone he should seek help from. His captors were probably wary of that happening. They would be prepared for it. So it'd all come down to luck. Some of the sweat emerging from his brow was from that nervousness. At that moment, the packing tape that was covering his eyes and ears were torn off. The burning light that he was seeing for the first time in several days hurt his eyes. After that, the gag made it hard for him to breathe was also removed. You alright, kid? We're bringing a doctor to you right now. Just hold on for a bit. The doctor was coming. The doctor was coming. Now, how is he going to ask for help, and how is he going to get away from his captors? A plethora of thoughts began swirling through his mind. I think you know this already, but don't say anything unnecessary to the doctor. We don't want you to get... We don't want to hurt you or anything. You understand that, right? Toshiki Inugai nodded while feigning pain and obedience. His expectations of the enemy's expectations. Whether they doubted he was faking his illness or not, they knew what his goal was and would try to stop it. His stomach contracted from the stress of his gambit, making it seem like his stomach was really starting to hurt. No, it really was. But there was no reason to panic. If he failed with his approach to the doctor, there was nothing to lose. For something to lose, it was his method of faking illness to get in touch with the doctor. If he could think of other methods from here on out, it wasn't much. But at the present, this was the easiest and most dramatic way he could think of. The more he thought about it, the more it looked like it was his first and last gambit. Yeah, I think you could only try this once. You know, if you try anything else after this, they're not going to believe. Eventually, you hear the sound of a car approaching once again. The sound of a car doors being hurriedly opened and shut. Sounds of several footsteps approaching. Oh, it's time. Young man in white medical coat. As he acknowledged the boy, the suspicious look showed itself on his face. Who's he? I wonder. He's not one of the kids from the village, is he? Captors didn't respond. From the looks of it, the young doctor realized that this was an abnormal situation. Yeah, just tell him, like, I found this guy wandering in the woods. Some wolf child, I guess? One of the captors talked threateningly. That's got nothing to do with your doc. Dude, that's like the... Okay. I guess EDA should know that village sus, you know? For a while, the doctor and the captor silently glared at one another. However, unable to stand the sight of the boy continuing to suffer, the doctor, as the captors had hoped, didn't press any further. I'm concerned about his old surgical scar. What kind of operation was it? We don't know. I should really bring him back to the clinic. Doc, we really can't do that. The doctor said he wanted to bring back the boy to the clinic, but the captors silently shook their heads at the notion. It was a fleeting hope, but it was only natural that the captors would refuse. At that moment, his eyes met with the doctor's. Seeing that the boy's painful state was abnormal, the doctor suspected it was a serious illness. Are you alright? I'm a doctor. When was this surgical scar from? Last year. Dr. Edie is suddenly interested in seeing a child. I don't think that's what this is. During the winter from an accident. An accident? I see. This is a problem. Couldn't let the doctor figure out that he was faking it here. He had to somehow figure out some way to keep this going and tell the doctor he was being confined and needed help. I feel like he's already figured that out, you know? I think Idiot can deduce, like, hey, this shouldn't hurt anymore if it's from a year ago, you know? So, maybe, he knows. Maybe. I'm going to touch the affected area, okay? If it hurts, tell me where. Ouchie. My bones. My stomach bones. Seeing that was extremely painful, the doctor crossed his arms and began to ponder. He had to somehow get himself to the hospital. To Toshiki Inugai, faking this illness was performance of a lifetime. Higurashi, when they cry. Time for a commercial break. Except, not really. Huh? Oh, switching perspectives. Why are we crying? What? Shut up. You know why we're crying. You know very well why we are crying. Trauma. Trauma and fear and paranoia and schizophrenia. All of that. Good work, everyone. I know it's hard, but please do your best. If you catch anybody illegally dumping, please contact someone immediately. We'll act quickly. Thank you for cooperation, Oishi-san. Please. The gap wide enough for a single car was opened up in the barricade. Oishi, showing his gratitude, perhaps a threatening attitude, with a short beep on the horn, rolled the car forward through the checkpoint. I just realized! Oh my god, okay. So to get in to the other village, won't that be guarded? Won't they be like, there's construction going on? You can't go past here, right? I feel like they're gonna do something like that. This time, my appearance was the very embodiment of the word suspicious. A baseball cap, mask, and sunglasses. Top of that, even though it was sweltering, I was wearing a hoodie. Any respectable police officer would be loath to not stop me for questioning. I had meant to be cautious, knowing full well that my face was known, but it might have been already too late for that to have been any use. Using that as an excuse, I doffed the unbearably hot hoodie and windbreaker, ripped off the mask and hat, and threw them in the seat behind me. Oh my, is that okay? The cheap little disguise like this, they probably figured it out anyways. That just might be the case. Oishi, probably thinking that my unexpected behavior was funny, continued to laugh. Unexpected? This beautiful and pristine scenery of Hinamizawa spread out before me. The village itself would have been quite beautiful if it wasn't for the complicated circumstances surrounding it at the moment. I would absolutely love to take Yuki here for a drive one day. Come to think of it, I didn't get a chance to call her last night. I played around with the idea in my head. Dude, I doubt they would ever welcome you back to Hinamizawa after this is over. In reality, this village wasn't all sunshine and rainbows. I had heard everything at the prefectural headquarters. The heart of this village, the intelligent network that the three families wielded was, due to blood ties and regional relationships, unbelievably well organized. Their net spread not just around Hinamizawa itself, but encapsulated the entirety of the city of Shishibone as well. When I first heard about that, somewhere in the recesses of my mind, I didn't take it completely seriously. How could a local organization out in the boonies here have something so grandiose? I couldn't deny that somewhere in the back of my mind, I had ridiculed the thought. But not only were they really threatening the minister, but they had demonstrated that they had a complete grasp on our movements, which were supposed to be top secret. They were almost like the secret police that controlled a small Eastern European city like some spy novel. Dude, it's literally freaking Yakuza. It's not that hard to comprehend, I don't think. Villagers here wouldn't bat an eye at getting their hands dirty if it meant fighting the dam project. I also heard something like that at the prefectural headquarters. Now that you mention it, when I first arrived here, Oishi said that this place was a war zone, didn't he? The residents of this village were at the same time freedom fighters. Although by definition they were no different than guerrillas or the militia. They weren't protected by the Geneva Convention. But they also didn't have to adhere to those rules either. This place was more of a quagmire than any legitimate battlefield. A secret war was unfolding. I could drive along because Oishi was with me. If I was to leave this car, even for something as trivial as looking for a vending machine, there was a chance I wouldn't return. Even though a single shot hadn't been fired, this was a battlefield. No, the reason why bullets weren't flying was simply because it was hard for a civilian to obtain a gun in Japan. I mean, I guess you're kind of right. If it was easy to obtain a gun, they definitely would have guns. I feel like they definitely would. They were probably just equipped with weapons other than guns that were easier to obtain. That was why Oishi was wearing a stab-proof vest, wasn't it? Akasaka-san, are you nervous? No time to laugh, Oishi. The fact that I was apprehensive was, of course, picked up on by Oishi. If you already figured it out, there was no point in trying to deny or hide it. Of course I am. We're heading to the heart of the enemy territory alone, aren't we? I'm worried about if something unlikely happens with just the two of us. Something unlikely? It'll be alright. Isn't everybody in this village our enemy? So everybody gets their story straight. They could murder someone in broad daylight and there wouldn't be a shred of evidence. Dude, oh my god. Okay, he says, isn't everybody in this village our enemy? But then, Rika. Does that count? It probably does. I mean, her alter ego, whatever, definitely doesn't want him here. I'm asking about something like that. This is what the ironclad rule of not barging into Yakuza office alone was about. If there wasn't a neutral party involved, that area wasn't bound by the laws of common sense. If something happened, you wouldn't be able to prove it, and there wasn't anybody who would take your side. It's pretty much the definition of poking the bear. I've left her word that we're headed towards this Hinamizawa area. And in the worst case, we've also got a radio. I know you're scared, Akasaka-san, but it's not really easy to pull off that a perfect crime. Well, of course, that doesn't mean we can let our guard down either. Dude, I'm getting freaking flashbacks to Keiichi trying to murder Satoko's uncle. How Keiichi would call it a perfect crime. Oh my god. Akasaka-san, you're too worked up over this. You were more relaxed last time we came up here together, weren't you? Oh, he knows. He's trying to poke the information. Laughing it off, Oishi thumped his chest and grinned, as if to say I could defend on him. Well, if it gets really iffy. This comes without having a badge. This comes with having a badge. Oishi made the notion by sticking out his index finger. It was undoubtedly the image of a gun. Will it be of any use? You're not afraid of dealing with the aftermath after you shoot. It's actually very reassuring. An officer's gun was only for show. If you really wanted to fire it, there was quite a number of stipulations, and you had to be prepared for the long probation period afterwards. That definitely wasn't worth it. So even if the officer did unholster his gun, there wasn't anyone who would actually wanted to pull the trigger. Akasaka-san, are you carrying one too? A piece. Well, yeah. You ever fired it? I have. For training, though. Well, I guess that'd be true. Well then, have you, Oishi-san? Me? No, there's no way. What was this? What was this? I thought that he was laughing at me because he had experience. Two of us laughed together. I've also never pointed the barrel at anybody. I've looked down the barrel of a gun a few times, though. Just being made to look down the barrel like that is just enough to shorten your lifespan by about 3 years. Even if he had never fired a gun before, you couldn't even begin to compare the amount of experience Oishi had over me. At a time like this, I can only marvel again at how reliable Oishi seemed. Come to think of it, I didn't want to come this way in the middle of the day, but there's no way for a car to get through other than near. Akasaka-san, just in case, put on the mask again and hide your face, please. They already know. There's no point. What's the matter? Can you not hear it because the air conditioning is too loud? Air conditioning. I'll turn it off. Try opening the window. When I opened the window, a blast of hot air blew inside, and then I could hear angry yelling coming from far away. At that moment, the forest gave way on either side of us, and our view expanded suddenly. And there could be seen the Hinamizawa Dam construction grounds, the very front line for Hinamizawa Village. Oh god, that was loud. Dude, you can't freaking jump scare me in a freaking Higurashi game, Jesus Christ. We're absolutely opposed to the construction of the dam! Crackling blare of someone's voice surrounded over an enormous loudspeaker. The roar of angry voices continued to rumble. The incredible volume had become a veritable sound cannon, spewing out its ammunition. The prefabricated site office was surrounded by 2 sets of high fences laced with barbed wire. Lined up in front of those fences were riot police in their vehicles. Surrounding it all were the villagers. They held out their protests against the dam as a single entity. Oh, there's not too many of them today. We're in luck. That's not too many? Yeah, when there's a lot of them, the crowd reaches as far as the road. We wouldn't be able to inch forward in a car. At first, due to overwhelming intensity, it looked like there was more people than there actually was. But upon closer inspection, there was at most 50 to 70 of them. With the 6 or 7 propaganda trucks lined up that looked like they belonged to a band of thugs were a strange enough sight. Villagers were also wearing helmets and bandanas, as well as covering their faces with masks, adding to the oddity of it all. Propaganda trucks, after braying their chorus, had the volume turned up even higher and began to flood the area with sutras. To say that the noise was downright violent wouldn't be an understatement. From this distance, it was still loud. It was still this loud. The glass in the office was probably rattling from the noise. Can't do anything there but take it. Those riot squad guys, every one of them was wearing earplugs, but they're still having their hearing damaged. Poor sobs. Can't you do something about it with the noise ordinance laws? Our prefecture doesn't have any laws regarding noise ordinance. Also, those are sutras, right? You can't regulate religious activities. I guess. Those guys are pretty smart. Is what I think, Oishi said. Actually, no matter how tightly the window was shut, the booming sound of the sutras still filled the car. I couldn't even hear what Oishi, who was sitting right next to me, was saying. As the car approached the line of propaganda trucks, the blare became difficult to bear. It wasn't enough to just plug my ears with fingers. I had to hold my head to keep my skull from splitting apart. If I had seen this terrifying energy sooner, I would have probably understood what Hinamizawa Village was much quicker. Now I knew. They couldn't blink an eye at sacrificing themselves in order to protect their hometown. So goddamn noisy. Shut up, shut up, shut up! My head throbbed and felt like it was going to split apart. My eardrums crackled on top of it all. I felt like I was going to throw up. With the road crowded with the throng of squatters, the propaganda trucks, and the riot police vehicles, it was in no way easy to get by. Even if you tried to shoo the squatters with the car horn, they were also wearing earplugs, oblivious to noises from the outside world, and wouldn't easily move. The car could only inch forward at a snail's pace. Even then, the car eventually got through, starting to leave the tumultuous, yeah, noise behind. Hey, the bald guy who was playing mahjong with us last night. Remember him? Remembered that there was an older person who didn't exactly mince words. Tummius, yeah. The guy Oishi called Old Man. There was someone like that. You see, he's a foreman of the main construction site. He's probably holed up in that prefab building trying to work while irritated out of his mind. Poor fella. Oh yeah, call him a poor fella. You won't be able to stand if it's like that every day. Yeah. There's no end to the number of people who can't handle it and quit. But every time that happens, their wages go up, so I won't say it's in vain. Even having to deal with all that noise and hostility, they made it a wage that Oishi found inviolable. Damn it, these guys! Can they hear or can't they? A group of squatters were in the way of the car. Oishi, sufficiently annoyed, laid into the horn. There was no indication they were moving anytime soon. This din, could they not even hear the car horn? Or did they hear it and were being malicious? If there's any riot police nearby, they would have made people move, but just so happened that there weren't any around here. Ah, jeez. Wait just a minute. Oishi opened up the car door. Hot air, even more heated roar of the crowd spilled into the car. Oishi-san, don't do that. Oishi said something as he grinned widely, but I couldn't hear what it was. It was getting them to move. Something like that? Oishi stepped out of the car and closed the door. It didn't faded slightly. I stared blankly as Oishi headed towards the group and started some sort of conversation. Maybe we'd find the minister's grandson at Takatsudo. At the very least, I wanted to find him there. Find him and slip the cursed bonds of this incomprehensible village. I could only pray. At that moment, shadow was suddenly cast over me. What? Somebody was standing right outside the passenger side window, blocking the sunlight. I spun around, looked up, and realized who the blacklit figure was. Rika? I'm going to hope? Rika! Rika! Let's go! God, what a queen! What a queen! Save me, Rika-san. Rika-chan, more like. Oh my god. Right? Oh my god. Huh? It was a girl. It was Rika Furude. The girl stared down at me with a bored look in her eyes. How could she stand all this noise? That would be, like, actually hurtful for a kid. I didn't have any justification for it, but I felt like I had been found by somebody I shouldn't be found by. To fill the silence, I raised my hand as I mouthed a meek greeting. Of course, there was no way she heard my small voice in this clamor. But even then, she should have seen me waving my hand in greeting. In spite of that, she simply stared down at me with a cold look on her face. Is she not Rika? Right now? At that moment, the noise and heat spread throughout the car once again. Oishi had returned to the driver's seat. Taking a look, the group that were blocking the road started to move aside while glaring our way. Sorry to keep you waiting. Shall we go? It's east. It's so loud she can't see. I don't think that's how that works. What the? Oishi registered the figure of the girl behind me. One of the villagers came over and picked her up. In a matter of, it's dangerous, so get away. It was then that she whispered one or two words. However, I couldn't hear any of it. Oh. Well then, let's go. I'm going to gun it, okay? But of course, still within speed limit. That's literally what I just said. Oh my god, noise happened, and I just said that. As if to shake off the still audible angry noises, Oishi floored the gas. Along with the roar and the din of the shouting, the villagers and the girl quickly disappeared behind us. As soon as we're through here, we're in Takatsuto. You okay if we end up getting into a firefight? Oh god. Don't be fumbling with the safety at that last moment, Year. Oishi laughed mockingly again. I was more concerned about what the girl had said. However, I was vaguely bothered by it. What was she trying to say with that apathetic and candid expression? Suppose it's normal if you're nervous from here on out. But if you don't deal with it, there's a chance you might do something rash. There's no longer a way to confirm what that girl was trying to tell me. Might have been that girl who warned me to go back to Tokyo again. Or else was saying to me who is here now. She was? Is it missing a word there? Ignoring that warning. Even though I warned you. What a fool. Oh no. Oh. Very grammar. Yeah. There's like quite a few errors in this. I had a feeling that she said something like that. Higurashi, Wanagrai, commercial break, number 2. Minor spelling mistake, 0 out of 10. No, there's been at least 3 this chapter. At least. If you were to call Higurashi a rather lonely village, then Takatsuto was outright desolate. For your everybody city boy like me, every boy city boy? Everyday city boy? I just couldn't understand why anybody would force themselves to live here. There were signs that people had, but they were all covered in dust or enveloped in ivy, indicating that it was all abandoned. People really lived in a place like this, didn't they? Well, it was a long time ago. A remote place like this is pretty rough for old folk to live. And the younger people will probably wanted to try living in a more suitable place. There's nobody left to take the reins. All that gets left is this. Even if I had no personal attachment to the village, seeing the disused buildings made me feel a little sentimental. It seemed that Oishi also felt the same way. Was the wall found over here? The person who found it must have a good reason to come out to this desolate place. Yeah, there's some villagers who have a field out here in the mountains. They pass by here in the morning and evenings. Villagers who work in the fields walk by here every day? No way. Probably go as far as they can by car. So in the early morning and evenings they pass by here and just happen to find a single wallet? They probably did. Where exactly did they say they found it? In a thicket just a bit further ahead. The person who found the wallet just happened to have some stomach cramps and was planning to use the thicket to do his business, it seems. So there he happened to find it. Probably hoping there was some toilet paper in there. Probably used the money in the wallet. Everything about this story just seems a little too convenient. Right from the discovery of the wallet, I can't shake the feeling that something's off. I expressed that feeling I had from the start of the day, quite frankly. It seemed too good to be true, but it was unwavering proof. It was just too perfect, sickeningly so. That was my feeling. I'm actually beyond to something by saying it's all a little too perfect. Meaning? Truth is, I heard a little something from a friend of mine in the 4th Division, where Odio Sonozaki referred to the kidnapping of the minister's grandson. She referenced it? Yeah. It's been several days since the minister's grandson had been kidnapped. Poor boy. Be nice if they let him go soon. Seemed that audio muttered something like that, while on her veranda. And that little music was conveyed to the various people working deep behind the scenes at the Sonozaki family. Right, I had heard something earlier from Sato-san, the informant. That was when the leader of Audio had a concern somebody in the family would be considerate. So, in essence, she gave the order to release the hostage? I see it that way. But all it be conveniently discovered was just a ploy to hand the boy over to the police. Oh. Okay. Why would they release the hostage? Well, there's only one reason why somebody would release a hostage, isn't there? Oh no. What is it? They reached a deal. That would mean the minister promised to halt the Hinamizawa Dam project. The dam project will definitely go away. That moment, those words the girl had said resurfaced in the back of my mind. Dude! Oh my god. It's like everything was planned. Every single thing that happened here was planned. They knew everything that was going to happen. Wow. Everything. Even them coming here. God. In the end, it was turning exactly it's turning exactly as she proclaimed. The young girl knew the circumstances. She knew everything about this kidnapping incident from the beginning to the end. Akasaka. Oh. The girl, what?
Akasaka,
What is it?
go back to Tokyo.
Huh?
Before long, you will woefully regret coming to this village. That would be an incredibly pathetic thing to see. So I thought I'd warn you right now.
Why would I come to regret it?
Stop whining. When you tried crossing the road when the "Don't Walk" sign was up, did your parents finish explaining why it was dangerous before pulling you back to the sidewalk? They'd pull you back right away, wouldn't they? They'd pull you back before explaining why it was dangerous, wouldn't they? In other words, it's something like that.
What is that freaking laughter, dude? I can't take that seriously. I was so in the moment, and that just, wow. The girl who knew everything from start to finish, who had warned me in the beginning, go back to Tokyo.
Akasaka's such a coward.
We'll probably find the boy, but what happens after will probably be a bit of a problem. How it'll be a problem, though, is something a single officer like me can't figure out. You know? A girl named Rika Furude. When I said such a non-sequitur... Squitter? Bruh. That way she sat in stunned silence for a while. Of course I know her. She's the only daughter of the Furude family, one of the 3 families.
What kind of girl is she?
Well. This is an unexpected name to hear. I'm a bit surprised. Does public safety think that the Furude family smells fishy and wants to keep an eye on them? Share some of the information with me, please. No, it's not like that. It's just something that caught my attention. Well, whatever. It wouldn't do to not answer the question from a friend I've sat at the same table with. I'm honored that you call me a friend. Woohoo. So, that little lady is, well, somewhat of a village mascot. She's beloved by everybody in the village. Some of the older folk worship her, especially. Worship? I don't know much about it, you see. Girls born into the Furude family have somewhat of a sacred implication, it seems. It's one of the local beliefs in Hinamizawa. Living incarnation of Oyashiro-sama or something like it. So the story goes, apparently. I don't think we know this yet, do we? Like in the entirety of all the chapters so far. Were we told this? I don't think we were. Oyashiro-sama? Now that you mention, I think I saw Oyashiro-sama written on some of the Alliance's banners. What is Oyashiro-sama exactly? It's the name of the garden deity of Hinamizawa. They believe it'll exact punishment on those who do ill towards the village. Well, if it was such a convenient god around, the guys at the dam would have been long since gone, done in by divine justice. Luckily, nothing like that has happened to anybody just yet. Yeah, nothing has happened yet, but will continue to happen every year since then. The grandson of the minister who traveled with the village as a result of Oyashiro-sama's anger was... what did they call it again? Oh, right. Onikakushi. The minister's grandson was demoned away. That would probably be how the script is being written. I see. It probably would turn into something like that. Divine punishment wrought by Oyashiro-sama. Then the culprit is the living incarnation of Oyashiro-sama. That girl? Even I didn't know exactly what I was saying, but the fact that Oishi laughed it off was a bit of a relief. Oishi's joyous laughter was so infectious that I began to laugh like an idiot as well. Ha ha! Ha 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 ha! So true, King. Oh, this is unusual. Oishi, after laying into the horn several times, rolled down the window and leaned out, waving his arm in an exaggerated manner. There was a car headed out the opposite way. You know, if they knew everything that was going to happen, what they didn't know is that the culprit, or not culprit, the kid would fake illness to try to get out. You know, I don't think they would know that would happen. Till now, we hadn't run into any other cars except our own. And of all places, it was at this desolate location. Even though Oishi knew the owner of the car. Irie, right? The other car also chirped his horn and came to a halt. Stop. Dr. Irie! Good afternoon! The other car's window rolled down slowly, revealing a young man in a white overcoat. He's about my age, or perhaps a little older. But we can't really judge someone by their appearance. Why, if it isn't Oishi-san. Good afternoon. Fancy meeting you here. That's my line, Doctor. I never thought I'd see you here. What happened? Oh, nothing. Just a little house call. Oh, really? Was it an emergency? No, nothing quite that serious. Thankfully. I'll take my leave here. If I don't get back quickly, my staff will be angry with me. Being out of a clinic must be tough. Well then, take care. A young doctor named Irie, after gesturing his farewell, drove forwards and soon disappeared around a corner. Well, she also drove forwards, but soon came to a stop again. Pulled out a worn map book from the dash. His expression didn't have the ounce of irrelevance. He was perfectly serious. What a nice young man. He surely can't like little girls, can he? Oh my god. What is it? The clinic shouldn't be making any house calls today. Must have been quite an emergency or otherwise a patient with some extenuating circumstances. Oh, she flipped through the pages, opening up to the map of Takatsuto. After that, he took a look around and started to figure out what our current location was. Are you saying that emergency is suspicious? Didn't I say? There's hardly anybody who lives in the Takatsuto area. The road we're on right now is here. Dr. Irie came from this direction. I have no sense of our surroundings. I couldn't digest anything about the place he was indicating on the map. We're heading towards the spot where the wallet was found. By the way, that's over here. But see? If you're heading one of the few residences in Takatsuto, it's the wrong road. Meaning, Dr. Irie came from a direction where there are no residents? As long as somebody working in the fields between these mountains didn't collapse. If somebody collapses, then you call a doctor. Normally you don't bring them... Normally you'd bring them back with you for a more detailed examination. But just now, Dr. Irie said it was nothing serious. And he didn't seem like anybody else was in the car with him. Or she didn't say any more than that. I also said nothing more. Doctor just now examined a patient, close by. Only that. The noisy radio had suddenly gone quiet. The sky had just suddenly turned an oppressive color. As Oishi mused that it started to rain, a torrential downpour started, as though trying not to disappoint him. Eventually, Oishi stopped the car. The only sounds to break the silence were a protrusion of rain on the roof and soft squeak of the windshield wipers. Let's do this a bit hush-hush, shall we? Saying that in a quiet voice, he exited the car without an umbrella, careful not to make any noise. Oishi leaned over, indicating the other side of the thicket. It's pointing to a prefabricated shed and a car that was parked beside it. The car looked obviously well cared for. It wasn't a vehicle that had been left here for several years. What's that shed? It contains equipment used by the forestry service. Whether they don't go near it except during the summertime. Does that car belong to somebody from the forestry service then? Dunno. Doesn't look like an official office vehicle though. Oishi was playing cool, but my nervousness was gradually increasing. God, you know what's gonna freaking happen now, right? Just in case. Saying that, Oishi returned to the car. Thought he was going to get an umbrella, but he grabbed the onboard radio instead. Hello? This is Oishi. Do you read? Greetings! Greetings! Yes, this is Okinomi SB. Oishi-san, we read you loud and clear. Over. Currently in front of Forestry Service equipment shed. Not the one in the direction of Yagochi, the one in Takatsudo, if you head there from Hinamizawa. Affirmative. Copy that. There's some suspicious people in the shed. Proceeding to investigate. If you don't hear back from me in 5 minutes, get in touch with the local police substation. Have them send a cruiser as soon as possible. If you would, please. Understood. Well then, shall we go take a look? Oh god! Oh god! Woo-hoo-hoo. Since he was first confined here, he had heard the sound of a car multiple times, so he thought the far-off sound was more of the same. However, the reaction from his captors was, until now, something he hadn't seen before. They jumped, reacting as if shocked by a jolt of electricity, pressed against the window, cautiously peering outside. They stopped. Somebody from the forestry service? This is bad. Nah, looks like a cop to me. One of the captors lifted the boy by his collar and pressed a blade against his cheek. Hey kid, keep quiet for a bit. I think you know this, but if you try and shout, there'll be problems. Toshiki Nugai was sure that the doctor had reported things to the police. He felt relief when he thought that he was saved, but not imagining his captors would resort to violence until they were cornered. His anxiety remained unabated. What do we do? Gotta buy time. Take the kid, slip out of the back. We'll be back there when the heat's off. One of the perpetrators grabbed the boy by the collar and forced him to stand. Of course, Toshiki Nugai tried to resist by feigning that his illness had been aggravated by this rough treatment. His captors paid no heed. Bang, bang, bang! The doctor was violently banged upon. Yeah, a little late. An hour or so late, but that's fine. We still have like 30 minutes to go, probably. Excuse me. Hello. Bang, 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 bang. This is chapter 4. So last of the question arcs. Doors banged on again. Toshiki Nugai hesitated for a moment to respond to that voice by yelling. However, while he was being indecisive, his mouth was covered, taking the option away from him. The leader of the captors waved at the other to go. The younger perpetrator nodded in response, while keeping the boy's mouth covered, started heading towards the back door. Hello, need something? How do you do? This is the police. Would you mind opening the door? Hoo 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 hoo. Sudden rain has us in a bit of trouble. I'll just so... The moment the lock was undone, Oishi forced the door open. With a gleam of menace in his eyes, he pushed the man aside and stepped into the room. Then, in a small empty room, he was able to quickly discern that the boy he was looking for was nowhere to be seen. Heard there's an equipment shed for the forestry service, but there's nothing here at all. There's nothing inside the room that would indicate that this is an equipment shed. There was only a mountain of blankets, indicating that somebody was sleeping here, alongside an empty food packet strewn about. It's been empty for some time now. Never seen no equipment store around here. But this is the forestry service building, isn't it? Are you from the forestry service? How about ya, police? Two glared at each other suspiciously. Both Oishi and the man steadfastly refused to reveal their identity before the other did. The man, judging from the sharp look in Oishi's eyes, realized it would hard to talk his way out of this one. No matter what he said, it The most time he could buy was probably be only a few dozen seconds. Only the sound of the rain filled this tense moment. Just then, they heard the sound of a struggle from far off. Let's go! Oishi had a hunch. There was no doubt that Akasaka, who was circling around back, had run into the perpetrators who were trying to slip away. Oh my god! As Oishi had thought, the man in front of him reacted a moment faster. The man swung with an attack that was more intended to obscure Oishi's vision rather than actually hit him in the face. Seizing his opportunity, the man aimed a kick at Oishi's groin without any hesitation, but he missed his mark and was unable to land a critical blow. The man, trying to pin Oishi, grabbed him by the base of his neck with both hands and fiercely tried to push him down. But as Oishi fell backwards, as if kicking the man upward, he dug his foot into the man's midsection. That leg acting as fulcrum, the man was flung by the falling Oishi as if by a circle throw. Two of them squared off in the pouring rain. Isn't this interesting? You wanna go? You wanna go? Oishi, as if trying to cheer himself on, grinned smugly. He then stood up, brushing the mud off himself. Even though he countered an assault, Oishi was getting up rather awkwardly compared to the man who he threw, swiftly sprang to his feet. Oishi-san! Hurry! Akasaka's voice rang out from the distance. Judging from the distress in his voice, he was already engaged in a fight and wanted Oishi to reconvene with him. But Oishi's hands were full as well. Akasaka-san! Sorry, but can you wait a bit? The man raised both fists into a stance that hinted at him being acquainted with karate or some other sort of martial art. Hydrate in the middle of this freaking intense battle of the century, but okay. Alright. Continue. Well, of course, Oishi, as an officer of the law, was decently versed in judo. It's raining, so they can just open their mouth and drink. So true. He also had the moxie to have been through his fair share of fights before. Because of that. You could tell that the man in front of him was quite a bit better fighter than he was. Ah, damn it. Thinking that this was going to be easy just because the order came from Somozaki family to release the hostage had been a big mistake. You're pretty good. It's been a while since I got this worked up. Oishi played off the situation like there was no sweat. His opponent, seeing his attitude, took that to mean that Oishi wasn't going to go down easily. The man wildly charged forward, attempting to grab Oishi. The man managed a successful clinch from his low stance. Oishi would be tackled to the ground and ended up being mounted. It was something you saw often when children fought, but it was a really bad position, since you couldn't do much once you were in it. Oishi, responding to the move, also lowered his stance to collide with the man head-on. The moment they clashed, Oishi grabbed the man's lapel? Yeah. As he yanked the lapel upwards, he smashed into the man's solar plexus with the elbow of the same arm. It was a move from Oishi's own personal brand of brawling judo. And then grabbed on with his free hand and attempted to throw his opponent with both hands. The man lowered his center of gravity and swung his arms in a large arc, entwining them in Oishi's. Not only that, but he had forced both of Oishi's elbows to the outside, and Oishi, now in his awkward position, was in danger of exposing his back with his hands still clutching the man's chest. This guy practiced Aikido or grappling, didn't he? I mean, there is a one for the other game, so there should be one for this game, right? Oishi, cursing the fact that his fingers were twisted into the man's shirt, couldn't get away, released his grip. He was still in the awkward position of being bent over. On top of that, at zero range, I was able to read Oishi's movements completely as he tried to squirm his way into a better position. And then, took the palms of his hands, swiftly clapped them over both of Oishi's ears. Ah! Clapping the ears in any other martial art, except for self-defense, was basically forbidden. Karate and Judo didn't recognize it as a legal technique. It was that much of a simple and dangerous attack. Oishi raised both his hands as he tried to reflexively clutch his own ears. Before that could happen, the man wrapped his arms around Oishi's neck. His thick biceps clenched firmly around the base of Oishi's neck like a vice. Judge, he used an illegal move! Oishi instantly thought he was going to be killed. After all, it wasn't hard to believe that a man like this, who was accustomed to fighting, could crush his opponent's neck in this position. But his opponent didn't do that. He chose to keep hold and force Oishi to lose consciousness. That's why Oishi at the moment, even though his face was twitching, was grinning widely. Even though his opponent had a chance to kill him, he didn't choose to. He was thinking, this guy has no intention of killing me. However, even though that might be the case, the man's hold on his neck was by no means gentle. In no time at all, Oishi's consciousness began to fade. Having the experience of being taken down countless times in judo training during his student days, Oishi was utterly resigned to the fact that it was over. No! No! Akasaka was finally recovering from the intense pain of being kicked in a rather sensitive area. He had bumped into his captor carrying the boy by the back to entrance. He had seen Toshiki Inugai's picture plenty of times. He wasn't able to immediately ascertain if the boy in front of him was the real deal, what with his mouth covered in packing tape. Also, with his limited experience, it was hard for him to panic over how to deal with the situation. Of course, the perpetrator didn't overlook this momentary lapse. His click landed squarely in the critical spot, with Akasaka not even having time to call for help. With the man flung the boy over his shoulder, he headed towards the front of the shed. But upon hearing Oishi's bellowing voice, gave up on going that direction, then dashed off toward the forest. As if the weight of the boy slung over his shoulder wasn't even there. Akasaka was lost for a moment. Meeting up with Oishi, who was fighting with the enemy, was far a safer option. But he couldn't just lose sight of the fleeing man. Yeah, Daybreak, was that, like an actual release? I don't think they released in English, was it? Like, it was like a Japanese exclusive or something? Akasaka stood up and chased off the captor's back. He ran through a short thicket, branches and fallen leaves crouching underfoot. The tips of branches raked and clawed at him, small scratches inscribing themselves on his body after another. He kept on stepping into puddles of mud, and his shoes were soon filled with murky water. Akasaka, traveling through the unexplored forest, was, even though this was an emergency situation, extremely unpleasant. Incomplete fan translation. You know, I could try. I could try. I know, like, 25% of Japanese. I could try. Stop! This is the police! As he said that, he regretted it immediately, as it was just a waste of breath. There wasn't a thief in the world that would politely stop when told to by the police. To a city boy like Akasaka, running through this forest was an arduous task. However, it must have been no easy task either for the man carrying the minister's grandson. Neither gained nor lost ground in his pursuit. Akasaka, upon realizing that, gained back a bit of composure. Just keep on chasing him. We're running in the same conditions. In fact, the man running with the awkward stride was far more of a disadvantage. He couldn't run forever. Eventually, he'd trip and fall. As long as he was being hounded, he would definitely stumble. As soon as his wish was fulfilled. Whoa! The man who had stepped on something and lost his balance was no longer able to bear the weight of the boy, dropping him. Akasaka, in all honesty, didn't care about the perpetrator at all. Just as long as he could ensure the safety of Toshiki Inougai. So, if this perpetrator ran off by himself, it was perfectly acceptable. But it seemed that Toshiki Inougai was important to the man as well, and didn't elect to just run away empty-handed. Akasaka didn't know what to do in this kind of situation. His first priority should probably be to ensure the safety of the boy, subduing the captor being less important. Grappling with the perpetrator wasn't something he'd planned on. Most likely, it was either do or die. Akasaka's moment of indecision proved to be fatal. The man, aiming right between, or rather, for both of Akasaka's eyes, struck out with a jab. Ow! Not wanting that, Akasaka raised both of his hands to shield his face. At that moment, the man kicked at his unguarded midsection. It almost felt like his vital organs were being squeezed out of his body, being lashed onto his opponent's leg. But his opponent didn't hesitate one bit. Leading with a seized foot, the man jumped at Akasaka, applying pressure and pushing him down. Akasaka was unable to withstand that and fell. Under no circumstances was he letting that leg go. Two men fell together in a tangled heap. The man was desperate to pull his leg free from Akasaka, but having fallen in an awkward position, was unable to. Two of them rolled around on the ground, floundering about trying to gain an advantage. But Akasaka was holding onto his opponent's knee with both hands, and his opponent, who had complete freedom to move his upper body, were in two completely different situations. The men gained positional advantage from Akasaka, who still latched onto his leg, couldn't move away, and pounded full force on his head with both of his fists. Not only that, he found a rock nearby and beat it against Akasaka's skull. Thwack, thwack, thwack. Oh, God. Dude, is Akasaka gonna die? The difference of being hit with a fist and being hit with a rock is vast. Akasaka quickly thought of letting go of the man's leg to free his hands to protect his head. But if he let go here, the man would get away. If he didn't dig in here, everything would be for naught. The boy he was trying to save was right here. Right there. He was going to save him and go back to Tokyo. If he could do that, then it was goodbye to this freakish village. Bam! Crash! Thud! Without looking, I could tell my forehead had split open when gushing with blood. But I didn't let go of the man's leg. How could I? I won't let go. When the man realized that no matter how much he beat my head, he wasn't getting away, he used both his hands to grab my throat as if to crush my windpipe. Pulled off my head back as a slight form of resistance, but it was of no use. The man's hands enveloped my neck and began to crush it like a vice. It was less about the pain of not being able to breathe, so much as it was choking so hard I felt like I was going to throw up. I felt like my stomach was going to turn itself inside out, but I could only endure it. Damn it, damn it, damn it. My throat hurts. I won't let go. I can't let go. I didn't want to be here. I wanted to resolve this, go back to Tokyo. Go back to Tokyo and talk to Yukie all about our unborn child. We were going to talk about our bright future. I had no intention of loosening my grip. However, it loosened just a bit and the man's leg became free. And I kicked as hard as possible and I tumbled backwards. My head was spinning and I was unable to get up right away. No, couldn't even put any strength into getting up in the first place. Even so, I couldn't back down. If I let him escape now, this chance would never come again. Even just catching their scent was nothing short of a miracle. If we weren't able to get the minister's grandson back here, there wouldn't be another chance. The man tried to drag the boy to his feet. The kid was displaying some unexpected resistance, allowing me to get up unnoticed. I grabbed the rock the man just beat me over the head with. Now it's my turn. Yeah! The rock should be able to supplement what meager strength I had left, adding enough power to my attack. My fist, still wrapped around the rock, dug into the side of the man's torso. So like it hurt him quite a bit. Ugh. Yeah. The man rolled over around for a bit, clutching his side. Freed from the man's grip, the boy hid behind me. Toshiki Inu guy, right? I've come to help you. To the boy, those were the words he was waiting for the most. But the crisis was still not over. That was because even though he was still clutching at his side, and had gotten up again, and had taken a fighting stance. I could see in the man's eyes the resentment and pain that I caused him, and the confidence that he could still beat me. Child, attack! Right. I don't know if he can risk that, though. You know, that'd be hurting the kid. I mean, risk him getting hurt, you know? If we were to clash head-on again, he might not even stop if my head were split open. Stop resisting! Surrender quietly! Oh god, I hate that. I get, whenever police say stop resisting. Surrender quietly. Just hand the boy over. Do you want me to snap your neck? Who will listen to you now? Reinforcements are already on their way. There's no way for you to run. Nowhere for you to run. The man reacted adversely to the word reinforcements. It's because he now knew that arguing like this wasn't just a waste of time, but put him closer and closer to danger. Realizing that, the man shifted mental gears almost too quickly. Let's finish this fast. How about this? What? The man pulled from his back pocket of all things was a gun! Dude, he has a gun. Oh lord, it's gonna be a firefight now. Of course, I'm a police officer. It's not like I don't know what a gun is. But having one pointed at me was something I never experienced before. Was it real? Of course it was. There's no way it'd be a replica in a situation like this. Put both the hands behind your head and lay down quietly. Don't get cocky, you villain. I won't do anything you say. You stupid idiot. Do you not know what this is without me shooting you with it? Then shoot! Reinforcements will hear the gunshot and head right over here. Are you stupid? We're in the middle of the forest, and on top of that, it's raining. They'll never hear a thing. As long as he still had that gun, no matter how much I yelled at him, I was at a distinct disadvantage. But I still had a fighting chance. If I were in his shoes, instead of wasting time yelling at each other like this, I would just shoot him and take the boy. That way was the fastest, and would suppress any sort of further resistance from him. The man was demanding my surrender without having fired a shot, meaning that he either didn't want to shoot or couldn't. In other words, the man in front of me was soft. No, don't call him soft just because he has feelings. Come on. If I could buy him just a little more time, factors that would lead to my victory were numerous. Oishi was probably on his way, and the reinforcements we called for coming here would already be well on their way too. Not only that, they should be contracted to the local police box. Without a doubt, somebody stationed in the village would be here much quicker than that. Damn it! Do I have to put a bullet in you to understand how dangerous this thing is? There's no escape. Don't add to your crimes. At that moment, I heard a rustling of foliage and heavy footsteps approaching. No, it's not gonna be Oishi. It's gonna be the other guy, right? If Oishi was coming here, it was a whole new ballgame. Man couldn't have more than one gun. Oishi-san! Over here! Huh? I thought that time was on my side. No way, it's Rika. But I failed to even imagine that the enemy could also have reinforcements. You could tell the man who had just appeared was one of the perpetrators just by looking at him. What are you doing? If you don't hurry up, the police will get here. Stop lollygagging. Damn it. What happened to Oishi-san? Ah, that chubby fella. He's down there for the count. Down for the count. Yes? Damn it. The boy, sensitive to the impending danger, curled up behind my back. How could this be? Damn it. Your buddy isn't coming. Serves you right. She is on the other foot now. They backed up against a large tree while still protecting the boy. The second man also pulled out a gun. Oh! Dude! How? They both? Bruh. That sucks. That sucks real bad. Oh. Won't be saying this twice. Put your hands on your head and lie down. I refuse. Akasaka, please. Do as they say. He's gonna die. He's gonna die. Bang! I shouted in protest. Blood erupted from my left shoulder as it took a few moments to register that I had been shot. Compared to the ones from the movies and TV dramas, the first actual gunshot I heard was simple and mundane. In fact, it sounded more akin to a small fireworks I used to buy from the corner store as a kid. There was no comparing the pain. It was a fear you only knew after you'd been shot. Sir? You okay? Are you okay? Oh, was that the kid? Sir, are you okay? Are you okay? The boy in his confusion tugged at my clothes, agitating the wound even further. I wanted to put on a bold face and reassure him, but my voice was hoarse and had the opposite effect. I'm alright. I've already called for backup. There'll be a full squad here soon. It'll be quicker to put you through. What the heck is. Dude. It'll be quicker to put on your. Oh. It'll be quicker to put. What? Put on through your head before the cops get here. I don't know. The family said no needless killing, so I'm taking it easy on you. On should be one. Oh, okay. Okay. They're gonna shoot him in the face. Oh, I see. It'll be quicker to put one through your head. Okay. Don't mess with me, or I ain't holding back. This was bad. It was very, very bad. second man was a completely different beast than the first. He had no signs of indecisiveness or mercy. This man said he'd shoot, he'd shoot. He wasn't somebody that a man like me could buy time from. Really hated to admit it, but at that moment, the image of Yuki's smiling face crossed the back of my mind. I knew what that meant. I was warning myself not to throw my life away over a matter of pride. Of course, I didn't want to die here. I was just starting a new life with Yuki, and I want to see the face of her soon-to-be-born child. Why should I risk my life for some minister's grandson when I was such a critical juncture of my own life? Ugh, damn it, damn it. I need to stop rambling at myself. So what do I do now? Give up the boy and extend my own life? What a good idea! Everybody's life is precious. My own life is in danger. Nobody would blame me. Oh, God damn it, it hurts. It hurts. If I had known it would be this painful, I would have just played the tough guy. My biggest miscalculation, though, was that the sound of the gunshot was far quieter than I had imagined. If it was only that loud, it would be drowned out by the rain in the forest. It wasn't something that somebody far away could hear. Damn it. Wait, just wait. I don't want to die. And I don't want to kill you. As long as you understand. Don't shoot, okay? Don't shoot. I have a wife waiting for me at home. I don't want to die. I won't shoot as long as you don't yell or nothing. Just quietly put your hands on your head and lie down. Will you really? Will you really? You'll keep your promise, right? This is a promise between men. I will. It's a promise between men. Dude. You can't... Akasaka, please. Keep your promise. Keep it. I'm gonna get down on the ground, okay? I'm getting down. I'll keep my promise. So stop pointing that gun at me. You're still thinking of shooting me, aren't you? You want to shoot me, don't you? When I get down to the ground, you're just gonna shoot me in the back of the head, aren't you? Akasaka, stop! Okay, you're getting delirious. I won't. Fine. Put it away. Put the gun away. It's a promise between men. There. No problem now, right? Oh, God. Akasaka gonna pull out his gun. Right? Yeah. Absolutely no complaints. Yes. Aw, what a king. It was over in a flash. The moment he lowered his gun, Oishi didn't let his chance slip by. Oishi had been assessing the situation for quite some time from behind the two men. Since they had their guns trained on me, he didn't really have a chance to jump in. It seemed the look on Oishi's face indicating that he wanted me to create an opening. I took on that role completely. Oh, okay. It was on purpose. Oishi forcefully lifted the arm that was holding the gun, then took the gun from the man's hand in only an instant. The other man, who was a bit slow in grasping what was happening, pointed his gun at them. With his ally grappling with Oishi, couldn't pull the trigger. That man was the one that was wrestling with Oishi at the moment. He might have shot without hesitation. This man wouldn't shoot. He couldn't shoot. Oishi kicked the other man away, while aiming the stolen gun with his left hand, pulled out his own. With guns akimbo, he was aiming at both men at the same time. I do believe that's checkmate. It was perfectly played, but heedless of the guns pointed at them, the men shouted, "Scram!" as they scattered away at full speed. It was over in an instant. Those two running away without putting up a fight was honestly unexpected. Oishi, quickly clicking his tongue at his admonishment, slipped both guns into his pant pockets. Those guys know their stuff. Huh? What do you mean? An officer won't fire at somebody who's fleeing. I want to keep my pension here. Oishi and I grinned at each other. Are you Toshiki Inugai, grandson of the Minister of Construction, Inugai? Yes. Yes. This is going to be a major incident. Probably only cut the tail off the lizard, though. Oishi smiled amusedly. The fact that the Onigashi Defense Alliance, or rather, Sonozaki family behind them, was pulling the strings was apparent, but proving it wouldn't be easy. And, with apologies to Oishi, this incident was unlikely to go public. If this caused an uproar, it would obviously lead to the minister losing his office, with HQ having decided that doing so was in national interest. This will probably be cleaned up quietly. Might be a rough way of saying it, but this was born in the shadows and was going to die in the shadows. I wish probably I already understood the implications behind this incident. Time being, let's cordon off the area. It seems like one of them still has a gun. For that, let's get Inugaiku in safety and get you to the hospital. As the tension in the situation faded, the pain from the gunshot wound in my shoulder blossomed once again. My forehead was also stinging painfully. I had grown hot enough to start a fire. Thinking that the tension had caused me to sweat, I wiped my forehead, but what came off was a large amount of blood. I realized that my shirt had been stained bright crimson from the blood flowing from my head. I turned around. The boy was safe and sound, without a doubt. There would probably be an investigation on the men who ran. That was for another day. At this point in time, I'll safely say we had cleared the major hurdle of securing the boy's safety. As soon as I recognized that, I felt like the lights in my head had been hit by a power failure. And he passes out. Understandable. Completely understandable. My knees buckled from underneath me. The cloud there, the ground feeling as soft as a cloud. I didn't feel unpleasant, even if as I was covered in rain-soaked mud. I wish he came closer, asking if I was okay, but somehow I couldn't tell. Turned off the switch to the last light in my head. Exhaustion enveloped me. Sleep. Something softer than any blanket wrapped around me. Jesus Christ. Wow. Wow. I didn't expect so much action. I didn't expect so much action. Oh my god. That was wild. Got an achievement. Mission accomplished. So true. Save. Save. And load. Wait, which one is this? It's chapter 4. So there's 4 chapters left. I think there are 8 chapters in total. So we're halfway. V-tips. A very kind person. Who? Was she? Akasaka? Probably Akasaka, right? Oh, okay. EDA. Patients admitted to the hospital. They can only accept calls at fixed times. That's why she wouldn't be receiving a call from him today. Yesterday, she had teased him that he got lonely easily. He would have struggled to get the idea of calling her sooner. It's much easier to imagine, other than he might just be too busy to call. Because he's just that type of a person. Oh, no, this is Akasaka. Because his wife in the hospital. Yeah. Yukie, whispering that, smiled to herself. The announcement that visiting hours were over played the hospital intercom along with some music. She exchanged pleasantries with the family of the patient that was staying in the same room as her. Probably eager for his mother to be discharged, their small child sparing a beaming smile. That child's mother was pregnant in the bed next to mine, with what may be their new brother or sister. Probably ready to burst with the expectations, dreams, and worries of having a new sibling. The joys of a growing family. Bathing in those warm feelings, I stroked my own belly, which had grown quite large. I had talked with him about how many children we wanted to have. We talked about how if we had 3, we would certainly be lively. However, there was this unescapable worry of whether I should be able to handle giving birth that many times. There isn't a mother out there who would hate to give birth because of that worry, though. I don't know about that. Yuki, smiling as if she said that to herself, gently stroked her stomach. Metropolitan Police Public Safety Division. The place where the man's sense of justice had led him. The person was actually a very gentle, very fragile person. I didn't talk much about the specifics, but I didn't think he was suited for the assignment he was on right now. But as long as he said he was going to try his best, I would watch over him warmly. Your father, you see, is a very hard worker, you know? Coochie coochie coo! Yuki seemed to be enjoying herself as she talked to her own belly. At that moment, Yuki suddenly became concerned about something and looked out the window. It used to be at this time, long ago. She remembered that when she was little, around this time in the countryside where her grandmother lived, the Higurashi would fill the air with their chorus. This was the middle of Tokyo. Unlike in the countryside, you couldn't hear the song of the Higurashi. For some reason at that moment, Yuki felt that she wanted to hear that song. You never want to hear the Higurashi. Ever. In real life. Ever. You know bad things are gonna freaking happen if you listen to the Higurashi. But that's gonna be it for today. That was a really hecking long chapter. Holy heck. I did not expect it to be that long. But I think we're halfway, or more than halfway. Around there. Save again. That's it. Thank you guys for watching and listening and whatever. I'll see you guys sometime. I haven't planned any streams for this week yet, but things will happen, most definitely. That's it. Thank you and goodbye. Have a nice day. What? Hold on, I got it.
Lifting you up from inside. Play with me now. Check the beat, 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 check the beat. Drop. Lifting you up from inside.